Hello, everyone. It's Alicia again with Redefining Femininity. Today we're talking about feminism. Today we're just going to go over what feminism is and what people think it is as we explore what people believe about women's roles. And I have a couple guests with us today. So we've got Robin and Alex who are going to introduce themselves.
Hi, I am Robin Lewis, and I have been living in Milwaukee for a couple years now. I work as a barista at Collectivo Coffee, and I know Alicia through the church that we attend.
Hi, I'm Alex. I am a nursing student at Marquette. I work at Columbia St. Mary's and at MCFI right now. I'm involved in a lot of other things in the community. I know Alicia actually through the baby boxes that she hands out. Because I am a storking company and we provide the baby boxes. So that's how we met.
And I'm really glad to have them come and talk to us today about feminism. We've got some different perspectives coming in. And we just have a couple questions. We kind of want to do a discussion format because it's really fun that way and you get to listen in on our conversation. I hope you enjoy it. So our first question is, what is feminism? When I researched what it was, I found that feminism meant that it was any individual who fought for women to have rights, any type of rights they felt were necessary for women. What are your two's personal definitions of feminism?
Well, I can start. So for me, feminism just means that, we are trying to achieve equality between men and women. Right now, there is still an imbalance between men and women, even if it doesn't seem clear necessarily, especially in America. But on a global scale, definitely there is an imbalance. And within America, we're still not at that point where I would say men and women are equal. And so for me, it's just trying to achieve that goal that everybody has the fair chance and fair opportunity at anything that they want to achieve in life. And also to gain the same amount of respect, because I think that is also a huge part, is that women are not respected as much as people believe they are.
Okay. I completely agree with you, Robin, with like 100% of your definition for that. I think feminism means that we are working for equality for men and women in all spheres of life. So whether that be political, education sphere, just every sphere possible, the workforce, socioeconomic sphere, just everything. We're all human, so we deserve equality, and I think feminists also strive for equality for others as well. So whether no matter your race, your socioeconomic status, your gender, of course, and everything else, we just think that everybody deserves equal opportunity and equal respect and equal recognition for the work that we put in. So, yeah, definitely.
Very cool.
Awesome. So I like what you had mentioned earlier. You said there were things that feminism were not. What would you say is not feminism?
So feminism does not mean that we hate men, while there are plenty of man-haters in the feminist movement. That doesn't mean that the movement means man. Okay, right?
Yes.
We know that. So another thing that feminism does not mean is that you don't have standards. So sometimes people say feminists are this, or they're that, and they don't allow a man to, or they don't even want a man to open up a door for them, or do other things like that. And in reality, that's just what humans should do. Like, humans should open up doors for other people if you're a nice person. So just because you are a feminist does not mean that you don't uphold everyone's standards. It just means that you uphold everyone's people's standards and that you respect everyone to the same standards. So, anything else that you can think of?
I mean, that pretty much covered it. But yeah, I was talking to them earlier, and I was saying that for a while, I wasn't a feminist because I believed it was very extreme. It was very much, you hated men, you didn't wear your bra, like that sort of thing. Like, that's just what my idea of feminists were, because that is what a lot of the media or a lot of other people kind of fed me, and I was like, well, I don't hate that, so I can't be a feminist. And it wasn't until really like college and realizing, oh, like, it's not that It's not like that at all. There are a few people like that, but it's not that at all. It's just like the basics is just like wanting equality, and you can still be from so many different walks of life, and have your own experiences, but all still be feminists in the same group and have the same goal. So I think that the goal is the same amongst all the different types of feminists out there.
Yeah, and that's with any group. I mean, feminism is a culture of people, and it's a way of life, it's a group of people, but yet we're also different. I mean, and we embrace that. That's the whole point of feminism, to embrace the differences, to embrace the individuality of every person. And feminism doesn't have to be all women either. I mean, I would never date someone that's not a feminist, as we talked about. And feminism, I mean, it can be no matter who you are and what you are. And that's what's most important. In every single group, there's this huge variety of people. And that's exactly what feminism is too, and that's what, I mean, it embraces it too, I think. So.
Okay, and Todd, going off of that, what you guys are saying, what it is and what it isn't, I would say what we see in the media is the media likes to portray its own definition of what it wants everyone to be. So I gave you two earlier some extreme examples of what people have said feminism is. So we can start like with the conservative side of it. Like there's a blogger called Matt Walsh, and he wrote an article about feminism. He said a bunch of stuff like it was the direct cause of abortions. He said if there was never a feminist movement, going back to the women's rights movement, like basically almost saying women should never have the right to vote, then the world would be a better place. I'm just curious, what are your thoughts on that side of the extreme opinion?
That makes me really like just really, really angry, like kind of rageful inside, because it's like basically he's putting all the blame for everything that's happened since, what was that, like the early 1900s, pretty much, like all on just women, which is ridiculous, because until like the past few decades, women really even haven't been into politics. If you really think about it, it's like women haven't been making those big decisions. There's no way you can possibly pin all of that on women. Plus, it's not fair. Like, that's only 50% of the population. You can't just be like, well, we have nothing wrong on the men's side of things. Nothing has ever been started because of men. Like, I know that's like kind of going extreme, but at the same time, what he said was really extreme. So you have to look at it in that sense. But it's ridiculous.
Okay. Also, I really hate that he makes it that feminism, like, he acts as if feminism is pro-abortion, and I don't think anyone is pro-abortion. That's not a thing. Pro-choice does not equal pro-abortion. Pro-choice means that you understand other people's lives and that they can make their own decisions about things, and that's something that feminism definitely strives for the individuality and to appreciate everyone's beliefs and values and decisions, because everyone has their own decision to make. So, I mean, I don't know there are plenty of people that I know that say they're pro-choice, but they're pro-life for themselves. They wouldn't get an abortion, but they understand that if someone has been raped, or if someone may be hurt in that pregnancy process, and or delivery process, that it is necessary sometimes, medically necessary to get an abortion, and psychologically necessary. And so I don't like that he combines the two so much, and I don't like that he puts that blame on women so much too, because he has no clue what happened in those women's lives either that made them cause them to decide to get an abortion. That's not like an easy process for them. So I don't think that's fair at all either. And that's like the basis of the article, which is so silly, because that's not even. You can't hate feminism for something that nothing directly relates to anything nowadays, you know? So,
and also, he's basically disregarding all of the good that feminists have done over the many years. Like you said, the voting thing and all of that, it kind of sounds like he just doesn't, all of the good that the women have done, and men too, because men were feminists as well. He just disregards all of that, and just focuses on this one thing that they weren't really responsible for.
Exactly, definitely not. I know in the article too, he talks about how feminism makes women vulgar, which is ridiculous. because first of all, vulgar is a personality trait. You can be man, woman, or no gender at all, and you can be vulgar. I mean, it's not a movement that's making you vulgar. And the feminists that I know are like the most loving people, the most accepting people, and the most kind-hearted people. Because those are all things that feminism actually means. Like you're supposed to be, it fights for love, it fights for nourishment, it fights for empowering others, everyone. So I don't really think that that's fair to call them vulgar just because maybe they don't wear a bra or they swear once in a while,
Right.
I mean, there are plenty of men that swear all the time.
Right.
And I don't understand why we're held up to these two different standards. I mean, we're humans, we should be held up to the same standards. So.
But women have historically been held up to a different standard. That's really cool that you brought that up because, it's like if a woman did one thing and the man was doing the exact same thing, people would call out the women for it, but not the man. And that's not fair. That's two different standards, and that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, definitely. I couldn't agree with that more. Yeah, it's sad.
Kind of feeding off what you guys are saying, it's going to the opposite end now. Like, you're talking about how people define this is what feminism means. Like, it can only mean this one belief for everyone, all the way across the board. So, like, in the opposite end, you have the media portraying, like, the Women's March, which sometimes, this is part of the reason, like, Melanie and I started this, was watching the Women's March. It's like, okay, every woman that is a feminist must believe the following things. They must be pro-choice, they must hate men, and they must be, like, on. And that is how you might see it, like, with some liberal outlets. What are your opinions on that side of the coin, too?
Well, I definitely, we all can have our own, beliefs. You know what I mean? Like, we shouldn't be forced into a certain, form of, a certain, list of beliefs just because you might associate yourself with feminism, for example, or, any group. Feminism is just, we're talking about it right now, but, while, our goal should be the same with feminism, there's going to be a few things that might differ, but we should be able to, work through that together. Even though we might have slightly different opinions, as long as our, goal is the same and we're not, hurting people in the process, I think it's totally okay to have certain beliefs not totally line up with one another.
Yeah, well, I think, first of all, liberal, the term, sorry, I keep accidentally using it because I keep using my hands. But liberal, the term, one of the things that defines liberalism and being liberal is equality, right? So for a liberal media source to portray feminism as hating men isn't fair, first of all, and it's not really right. Media always seems to portray the two complete opposite ends. To extreme ends too, when in reality most people fall in the middle, right? So, that's a whole other issue with media and propaganda and everything else that I don't think is fair. I definitely do think there are some underlying things that feminism is, and I think we talked about that. But there are differences in being a feminist. Feminism can be one of your foundational beliefs, and then we can all have beliefs that build on that, and those things may change. Like I said, the whole pro-life for yourself versus pro-understanding, basically, for other people sometimes, and things like that. That really shouldn't matter in the long run. I think if you are working hard towards empowering women through however, and other people, every minority, every group that is discriminated against, you are doing what the feminists should be doing. So, like we talked about, I know Alicia and I earlier were talking about, because in the article that she mentioned earlier, he was talking about free birth control and how ridiculous it is that feminists want that. But then he was also talking about how abortion is so terrible. But that's the thing. If you are a feminist and you're pro-choice, it's fine, okay? But fight for, you're pro-life, that's fine, but fight for things that'll help those women. still try to empower women in other outlets, whether that be giving them education, giving them love, giving them outlets and things like that too.
And like with the free, but with him being like against birth control, but also against abortion, it kind of doesn't make sense.
No, it doesn't.
Because a way to keep abortion from happening is birth control.
Exactly.
And so like really he's fighting the thing that would bring the abortion numbers down.
Exactly. What he's like blaming, he's kind of blaming women. So which is it's just terrible because he's blaming women for all these things, but he's not putting out a solution. When in reality, the solutions are things like giving comprehensive education if you really want to stop that problem. If you call it a problem, everybody has their own views. Like giving out birth control, giving out education and resources and things like that, and empowering women to make healthy relationship choices too. So I don't know. It doesn't seem to coincide at all.
It doesn't work. Like he's just been like, well, all of these problems, and then there's no solutions. Like he's not actually providing any solutions for it. And then he forgets that birth control does more than just prevent pregnancy.
Yeah.
It helps balance your hormones. It helps you with certain like diseases and like all of that stuff. Like and he's forgetting all of that. Like a lot of women I know, like they've been taking birth control since they were like middle school.
Yeah. For like cramps, terrible
cramps. Yeah. Or like for ovarian cysts and all of these things that can be very very harmful for a woman. And they're not taking it because they just want to go around and have sex all the time. They're taking it because of like medical reasons.
Yeah.
And by taking that away from these women, like you're causing a lot of harm to them.
Definitely, I would agree. And even if a woman does want to, have more control over her sexual life, right? Feminism is great too, but birth control is a great thing for her. Then she is preventing herself from getting unwanted pregnancy.
Oh yeah,
and
for sure.
When she wants to get pregnant, if she ever does, I mean, she can easily have resources, which is, feminism is totally about that. Empowering women with whatever decision they want to believe in, whatever life stage they're in, and whatever, you can change your beliefs as a woman, no matter where you are in life. And feminism is all about supporting you wherever that belief however that belief may change, right? So, I don't know.
Yeah. You guys have a lot of good comments. I feel like we could go on forever. I'm looking at our time here, and we're almost to 20 minutes already.
Oh, wow.
So we'll go to the last question, which we're going to wrap up with. For Melanie and I, a big part of this is how Christianity and empowering women go together. So, I would ask each of you, and you can still keep a conversation style, how do you see Christianity fitting into femininity? Feminism, do you see them playing a role with each other? Can it be done? Because you hear a lot of people, for example, say it can't be done. What do you think?
Well, I definitely, so what I want and what I think that Christianity should be is different than what I'm seeing a lot of the times, though it's getting better, I believe. So what really, because with Christianity, with Jesus, when he came, he treated women way better than society was treating them at the time. He included them in stuff. He spoke to them differently. He kind of started to set the standard, and he's been kind of relying on humans to try to keep it going. It's humans, we are not perfect, so we are dropping the ball. So my belief is that Christianity and feminism can definitely coincide with each other. But there's of course the extreme groups that are preventing that from happening, because really Christianity is all about people being treated equally, treated with respect, and everybody having an equal opportunity to find God and to be in relationship with Him. And so I definitely think they can coincide. What I see a lot though, especially in extreme churches or extreme groups of people, or just the Christians that are a little bit more on the ultra conservative side of things, is that they tend to treat women still as less, which is really frustrating for me to see that happening, because that's not what Jesus was all about. He was never suppress all of the women, because he never said that, and that's never what he did. So I would love for more Christians to embrace both, like we are doing. And there's a really interesting book that I just started reading, and it's called Jesus Feminist, and I recommend it to all of you viewing out there, male or female, doesn't matter. You all read it. It's really good. I'm only a little bit into it. But it just really is like, it's just a realistic, like, hey guys, like, we're all equals here. Let's treat each other like that, with the love of God. And but yeah, so I think that they definitely can coincide. We just have more work to do, for sure.
What's your thoughts on that?
That's so great. So I'm not religious.
Yeah.
I'm agnostic. So but I did take theology class in college, and we did learn about basically like the Jesuit tradition, Christianity, and the biggest thing I learned is that a lot of people that portray themselves as following the doctrine don't follow the doctrine at all.
Yeah.
Like you said, the basic stuff is that you're supposed to love people, you're supposed to accept people, you're supposed to give yourself to others, and not be so greedy and selfish. So it seems that a lot of people don't follow that. And if you do follow that, you are following a lot of the basic things of feminism. You know, loving people and accepting people for who they are, and bringing people together, and empowering others. And so I think they can obviously coincide, and no matter what religion you are or what religion you aren't, you can be a feminist. You can be whatever you want to be. Being a certain religion doesn't always coincide with a belief or a culture. I don't think that's fair. There's, like you talked about, there's such a variety in things, and it should, I mean, whatever you label yourself as, whether it be a religion label or whatever else, it doesn't mean that you can't have different beliefs. What should be most focused on is your values, and a lot of those values that are religious values for true people that actually that really do try to follow what Jesus did, they coincide really well, and I think just values of being a good person coincide really well with feminism. So I think we should all be feminists, right? I mean, if we want to be good people, and if we are good people, and just try to help others and love others and empower others, and believe in people, then you would think that you're feminist, right?
Well, and it's interesting because I remember mentioning it to you, I don't know, it was a few weeks ago or something, and it's like, if everybody actually followed just like the basics of like, and this is even aside from like any type of religion or anything, just the basics of being human, like loving people and treating people with respect and giving people like equal opportunity, then in theory we wouldn't need feminism. There's a reason that it exists.
Right.
If we didn't need it, we wouldn't have it. You know what I mean? If you think about it, like in the ideal world, you wouldn't need feminism because people would just automatically do the things that feminism believes in and their goals. You know, it's just kind of interesting. Like the only reason that this like movement is in existence is because we need it. You know, so.
So, yeah, and like in conclusion, one of the things I wanted to point out, like I like that you mentioned that you were agnostic and everything, because I wanted to like prove a point with feminism and stuff too, is that the way media portrays it is like nobody can get along with each other. You can't have like two different viewpoints. I wanted that to be like a focus, like knowing Robin believes in Jesus and everything, and you're agnostic. I wanted to show that we can sit down and have conversations and agree on things.
I mean, we all have the same values. I mean, let's be real here. We all have the same basic foundational values. Just maybe the way we build up on it is slightly different, but we get along, and I think we're all really good people. So,
and that's what's an important thing to know is like your friendships aren't established on the one viewpoint, and then you're like, oh my goodness, no, we believe that one thing that's different. We cannot talk to each other. We can't be a part of the same movement. Like, it's important to know. Like, it's really important to sit around with other people and have conversations like this and be able to like empower women together.
And I think the biggest thing is we're all accepting and understanding. And ready to listen instead of just accuse. Which is, I think, the best thing. So
it's always important to listen. And since we're almost around the 30-minute mark, we should probably conclude.
Sorry, guys. We could talk for like 10 hours if we wanted to.
We talked for about an hour before this, so you guys got the shortened version of this. But I want to really thank Robin and Alex for coming and helping me with this today. I was really grateful for it, and I really really enjoyed the conversation. I hope you guys out there enjoyed the conversation too. You can comment and add to the conversation and let us know. Keep following. Next week we're going to look at traditionalism. It might be a few more weeks than next week, but we're going to look at what that belief is and what people think of it. And then we're just going to be adding on to it. And I hope you guys follow along. And I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.
Bye.